my name is Steve Viola. I'm happy to be here. I'm a Henry Jackson contractor. I work with Dr. Pearl in his strategic planning for engaging soft operations at his brain repository. I spent 30 years in the world's finest Navy. I did 28 as a Navy SEAL, and I did 26 as a combat medic.
It's Renee Hernandez, and I have a PhD in neuroscience. And I served in the Navy. I was in the Medical Service Corps, so I was not a line officer, but I served in the Medical Service Corps as a research physiologist. And I served for 27 years, 9 months, and some change. And I retired at the rank of commander.
My name's David Kaiser, and I have been in the Department of Defense for close to 30 years now. I spent 13 years in the Navy, in the Medical Service Corps, and I got out, resigned my commission, and a couple years after that came right back as a civilian at the Uniformed Services University.
Roy, and I am a general internist by training, so that means I'm a primary care physician, and I have many military service members and veterans and their family members that I've taken care of for a very long time, 20 to 30 years in some cases, and I really value those relationships. So I spent 24 years in the Army and retired as a colonel. And I am currently the deputy director of the Center for Neuroscience and Regenerative Medicine. And I'm also professor of medicine at Uniformed Services University.
When I was graduating from the Citadel, the last thing I wanted to do was to wear a uniform again. So I did not go into service. I also had a desire to go to graduate school. I knew I wanted to do research. I knew I was interested in the brain and neuroscience, etc. So I spent some time out in the civilian world, went to graduate school, University of Maryland School of Medicine. And as I was finishing up and trying to think about what's my next step beyond graduate school, it was 1991, and I remember specifically, my brother gave me a call. I was in the lab finishing things up, and my brother called me and he said, "We're at war." And it was 1991, and the first Gulf War just started, and that really shook me. So I hung up the phone and I thought, it's now or never. If I'm going to give service to my country, this is the time. So I made a couple of phone calls, and the United States Navy offered me a commission in the Medical Service Corps as a physiologist, and I snapped it up. And it was the best thing that I could have done.
So I went to both college and medical school at Brown University in Rhode Island, so the Army paid for the medical school at Brown, so the Health Professions Scholarship Program actually pays all of your bills for medical school, and in return you owe them an equal number of years. So I hadn't had anybody in my family who had been in the military, so initially when I started looking at it, it was really with that kind of what seemed like a fair deal. They pay for 4 years. I give them 4 years, and I ended up finding that it was such a great population to work with, both the patients and my colleagues, that rather than just spending 4 years, I spent 24 years in uniforms and stayed on at the Uniformed Services University after that. So I've now been a civilian there for another 8 years. I just really love the patient population, the devotion that they have to service to our country.
One of the very few positions in research these days that still focuses on whole body physiology is in the military, because they're looking at service members and how to keep them healthy or even improve their performance, how to make healthy people healthier. And so I loved that. I love the idea of not sitting in a lab looking through a microscope at my subjects. I like being able to work with healthy people and help keep them healthy. So that was the thing I thought that was a really neat reason to get into the Navy. But then once I was there, it's like, well, this was a really great tour. I'll stay 4 more years. This one was really cool. I'll stay 4 more years. And that's literally how it went. It was just such a charming experience that I just kept staying in.
Truly, the most memorable people, much like you, are the ones that I recall, that really just make me want to go to work. Whenever you get up, it makes me want to put on that uniform and be a part of that team. So yeah, even though I did have I know opportunities that most people aren't confronted with to meet people of grand stature and had all the ribbons, had stars on their shoulders, etc. It was the people that I shared the day-to-day activities with that I remember.
And one of them, God rest his soul, is a buddy of mine, Dan Healy, was killed in Operation Red Wing when he was on the QRF. Really good friend, and just a solid guy. But he was always in a good mood, no matter how crappy it could be. He was the driver in the SDV, and I was the pilot, or the navigator rather. And we had this competition inside the platoon of who could get the SDV. It's like, so just imagine a boat going on a boat ramp. So you have this little mini submarine trying to go on a boat ramp. And we're on these Mark 15 full face mask things, and we're talking to each other. And it's like, all right, Dan, this is all the money in the kitty, and this is the beer money. How are we going to do it? He's like, I got this, don't worry. So he's hitting the gas, and he sees the ramp, right? He's looking up over the canopy, and he's doing it, and sure enough, he nails it. I'm like, Dad, that's the best thing ever. And we're the water's like right about above our head, right? So we're still kind of in the water, kind of out of the water. And I'm like, Dan, you all right? Dan, he had a shallow water blackout. His rig had gone hypoxic on him, and so he blacked out right at the last second. So I literally pull his mask off of him, and he's like, how'd I do? Not what happened or what's going on. How did I do? So back to that point of like, I don't want to let someone down. He was just like, how did I do? So yeah, Dan Healy had a huge impact on me.
And one of the other remarkable things, the experiences that we had doing this was we'd bring in these groups of veterans, 6 or 8 at a time, typically. And so one group was all women. And that was the most remarkable group, really, because, they all helped each other a lot more than we helped them. Many of them had not only PTSD, but military sexual trauma, been assaulted by fellow American service members, that kind of story. And they worked really hard together. We saw them, come together, support each other. They were such a strong group. And, I think sometimes, about 85% of service members are male. And we often when we think about people being deployed and dealing with, firing weapons and the effects of these combat situations, I think a lot of people just get a picture of a male service member in their head. But women are a really important part of our military, and they also face TBI, PTSD, the kinds of things we're dealing with. And that really had a profound influence on me, working with this group of 6 women and seeing how they could just open up and work together and help each other get better. And, they made tremendous strides in their 4 weeks that they were with us.
Yes. 2 things I'd like to say that a good friend of mine just passed on to me is reach out to each other, check on each other, whether it's a text or a call, and look out for each other, because no one knows what you're carrying inside or what's going on. And then secondly, find a hobby that you can get into without being too obsessed with it. Find that balance. And I think that's what I would say to my brothers and sisters is have your balance in order, to where you have a family life, a social life, and a hobby that helps nurture you and put you in a positive light. There's just too many people not reaching out, and they're finding a permanent solution to a temporary problem in terms of suicide and stuff like that. So please don't do it, and let's do your blood work. Let's do something. Just give me another day to figure this out with you. Reach out to your brothers and sisters, please. It breaks my heart when I see it, and that's why I joined Dr. Pearl's team to try and help stop it. So that's what I would tell them.
Thank you for continuing to do what you do every day. Just for those in uniform and those who have served. It's, I think just saying thank you for your service sometimes seems maybe just perfunctory or just it's not enough. But it truly is humbling to take care of military veterans every day in the clinic, and to just know all that they've done and all that they put on holds, put on the line to serve their country, putting themselves in harm's way. And so, I want to continue to do whatever I can to help those who are suffering physically and mentally, to help them recover, because they truly deserve the best medicine that we can provide, the best therapies, the best efforts to figure out what's going on. And again, just thank you for making a difference with your lives.